Hello, everyone. I am joined right now by Jeesun, live from Shanghai quarantine. Of course, this coverage brought to you by Alienware. How many days have you been in quarantine, Jeesun?
So today's Friday, Thursday, so 6 days.
Okay, 6 days. And for those that don't know, Jisun is the LCK host and is going to be what is your official role at Worlds this year, Jisun?
Translator.
Translator. Okay, so that's where people will see you, but obviously folks know you from a lot of different stuff. So, um, all right, so you left Korea and you've been in Shanghai for 6 days. Uh, how has how's quarantine been for you?
Well, it was okay, to be honest, outside of the fact that I cannot have any iced Americano here.
Oh,
But,
really? Okay.
well, no. But I mean, LCK, the schedule has been really packed until the very end, like the regional qualifier. So I only had one day off to like pack and everything and get ready. And also I had to go a lot of process, like getting the COVID test and also like getting my visa approved. So I kind of realized that this quarantine can actually be a time to create some headspace and also have a full like 14 days off. So it's been okay. Some people are also struggling. Definitely, I'm also struggling a little bit because I saw a bug crawling on my desk last night, but it's been
I,
okay.
I saw that you
I was
posted
able
a
to sleep a lot.
picture and you said my new friend. So it didn't seem like you were that distressed. You seemed to be happy to have company.
Well, I mean, quarantine is changing me a lot.
So, have you been talking to anybody else that's in quarantine? Or you guys, is there like a support group for going through this?
So, yeah, we had a group of people leaving Korea, like the first wave. So it was Tamon Gaming and some other rioters, and the like video producer at Tamon Gaming is actually my friend, and she kind of posted a clip on YouTube about like talking to the Tamon players. And one time she messaged me that she was using the wrong like soap, like the for body wash, but which was actually a like detergent,
Hmm.
but she was wrong. So she was using the right body wash, and then she kind of realized the wrong fact that she has to use detergent as a body wash, and she informed that to the Dominant Gaming players. And I saw that YouTube clip, and I messaged her like, "No, you were correct in the first time, and then you were wrong. So you have to go back." And she was like so like flustered. But so, and also yesterday when I saw the bug on my desk, I messaged on the group chat. I was like, I'm panicking, like help me, I'm shivering, and they were like, you can do this, just stomp it with your shoes, and I did. I
Okay.
just like stomped it right with my sneakers on it, on my feet, and I killed it. I was like literally like shivering to get it off my table and then like leave it outside my
I mean, you
door.
were shivering, but you had time to take a picture of it and upload it to
Because
Instagram.
because I was like talking to people in my group chat and I was like, I saw this. What should
Oh,
I do?
okay,
And then they
okay,
were like,
okay.
just step it on it, step on it. So I was like, okay, I will. And then I did. And at first, I just took my shoes off. I left it on the table. So I took another picture and like, what should I do now? And they were like, just like trash it away. You can
Yeah.
do this. You got this. So I did.
I appreciate. It seems like there's a lot of personal growth you're going through right now. You've had to give up iced americanos. You are having to deal with your own bug situation. It's like there's a new challenge every day. It sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, what? Okay, outside of just the 6 days of being in quarantine, what has preparing for Worlds been like for you this year? Because obviously this is so different than all the international events that we've been at previously. So what has it been like for you knowing that Worlds is going to be and look very different this year?
So I had to buy a lot of things like hand sanitizers, masks, even goggles, and also, yeah, I was a little bit like horrified about the fact that you cannot see the virus.
Yeah.
So you don't know until you have the symptoms whether you're infected or not. So those kind of things are actually really scary. But at the same time, well, if you just stay safe in your bubble, it's gonna be okay. So I'm trying to kind of keep myself controlled and not too worried about the whole situation, because like being too much worried actually worsens the situation.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about League of Legends because that's going to be a very big thing over the next month. What are your expectations for the LCK teams? Because actually, what's very interesting is, at least in the West, I hear some people talk about Damwon, but there's a lot of talk about LPL. There's a lot of talk about I don't know G2, and there's a lot of people saying North America will suck. But I haven't heard too many people talk too much about LCK, so I'm very excited to talk to you because I'm kind of curious what your expectations are for LCK, and maybe even before we get to that, for the Western fans who haven't been watching LCK, can you tell us a little bit about the 3 teams that made it to Worlds and sort of what their stories are?
So Tamon Gaming is the #1 seed from LCK. They are like they have a very high octane game style. They play with a very fast tempo, and they usually play around their top side, top jungle mid, because they kind of always outplay the opponents. And bottom lane, especially Ghost, the AD carry, he's a perfect role player for his team. So he's a very supportive, and also he can also play traditional marksmen. And his support Burrow is actually more like a roaming style support player. So he also helps the top side of the map to kind of assert more pressure and dominance. So Diamond Gaming, they always like stick to this kind of playstyle, but at the same time, in the LCK finals of the summer split, they kind of proven themselves that they can also play around their AD carry by first picking Caitlyn. So I think they are in a very safe and perfect form right now, because they are able to play any kind of playstyle that are mainstream, and also they can always utilize the dominance from their solo laners. And #2 seed is DRX. It used to be Kingzone, and then they changed to Dragon X, and now they're DRX. And they have Deft and Chovy. I think that those two will be the most familiar players on the side of DRX. So Chovy, I think he is for now the hyper carry of his team, and the remaining 3 spots are allocated to rookie players. So they're Doran, who used to be in Griffin last year, and also Puzik, he used to be a streamer and a very rookie player, and also Keria, he used to be in academy for DRX. So those kind of players are also picked up for 2020 roster. And I don't know. A lot of like people kind of commented that DRX, sometimes they're not winning, sometimes they're winning. Like they got these ups and downs,
Yeah, they're
but at the same time,
inconsistent.
yeah, but at the same time, they always have this clutch moments and win the game. So sometimes, like when they're facing up against Genji, like Genji was having the control until the last 5 minutes, but they have this clutch moment to end the game, and that was so crucial, so that they were able to raise the nexus. So they have this huge potential because the players are very young, they're rookies, so their mechanical level is really on point. But at the same time, they have Chovy, Deft, so they can also help the rookie players with the macro and rotation. So they've become much more stronger coming into the summer split as well. So they also look very decent. And also with the Lilia coming in, I think their jungler Pusik, he's been, I think, almost like undefeated on that champion. So
Okay.
that can also be a huge factor for the team as well. And the third one is Chenji, and I think a lot of Western fans already know Chenji, and I think they keep the most traditional LCK style, like consistent and sustain top laner, and then like hyper carry mid and bottom laner. Especially a lot of people have been highlighting Ruler's performance, but at the same time, BDD, he was also popping off throughout the year, and also Rascal, he has been always like consistent, and at the same time, he sometimes managed to come up with some pocket picks like Malphites or maybe Nico. So I think most of the players on the side of Genji, have quite a bit of a career, so they are experienced, and also they have cleared from SKT last year. So yeah, I think they will have a very consistent run at Worlds, and they will be leaving Korea tomorrow. So wish them the best of luck.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. I know everybody's slowly filtering in over time. All right. So it sounds like you guys have three really exciting teams. How do you expect them to do? Because especially, I feel like so many people are hyping up the LPL teams, especially the top three seeds. So, what are your expectations for LCK's performance this year?
I have high hopes, of course, and I really wish them to play well, especially for Tomon Gaming. I actually thought Tomon could reach like further last year, because they had a very huge potential, and as with their high highs, well, I believe that they are strong enough to maybe defeat G2. But I mean, I'm not sad about the fact that they lost, but they had this potential to not go that powerlessly last year up against G2 in such a big stage. But maybe it's because they were like rookies. That was their rookie year. That
Yeah.
was their first Worlds appearance. But because I always trusted Talman Gaming, because like the individual players, they're all so talented. They have a great mechanical level. So coming into this year, I believe Talman will be like top two teams in the LCK. And then I don't know, but they were a little bit shaky
Yeah.
in the spring split, and also in the MSC. They were not very competitive up against the LPL team. So I was a little bit surprised to see them kind of performing under my expectations, because I know the ceilings of the individual players, and they deserve a much higher spot, but somehow they cannot just execute it in competitive games. So, but like going back to last year, Noguri was performing so well up against like other top laners, up against Toshai. But coming into the summer split, maybe after MSC, they have changed a lot, or maybe the meta and their like performance had a huge synergy, and they were able to the things started to kind of click. So they are now reaching the climax or the apex right now. So if they can like keep their
Yeah.
domestic performance at Worlds, I think it's gonna be super optimistic, and they can have a very long run throughout Worlds. And for DRX, well, there are a lot of factors that can affect them, because three rookie players, and also especially POC carry the two of the players have never been like performing at international stages. Those kind of things can also affect them, and also so because it's their first experience at international events, the way they adapt to the new environment can also affect their performance a lot, because Taft, I mean, I believe he has a lot of experience, so he knows how to kind of get used to the new surroundings, the new food, and
Right.
the new culture and everything. But it's not easy for the first timers, because I mean, you have to go through it and then you learn. So
Yes.
if they do fast enough, well, they can also perform well. And Genji, I think Genji will be pretty consistent, because all outside of the players, like the coaching staff, they are also very experienced. They've been to Worlds or other like global events a lot, so they know how to handle and deal with this situation. And the players, they also have quite a bit of career now, so I believe they will also do well. But well, they're the third seed from Korea, but it's not because they're the third best. But there were a lot of things going on, and there were a lot of unexpected if like things
Event. Yeah.
occurred. Yeah, so I think like the power level is very bit similar between DRX and Genji, and Damwon is a little bit higher than them.
Gotcha. So I did ask you how well do you think they're gonna do, and you gave me a bunch of reasons for why you're hopeful for these teams, but you didn't really give me an answer on how well you think they're gonna do. So I'm wondering if that's intentional. If you are a little nervous for the LCK teams.
Well, I don't know. I think Genji, they definitely put up a good fight up against LPL teams during MSC.
Yeah.
Damwon, even though they were faltering during MSC, they were super strong during the regular split. So I believe, and DRX also, they were doing a great job at the MSC. So I think, well, maybe they can all make out of groups.
Okay. You think
And
maybe they can all make it out of groups? I'm just sensing so much confidence from you. It's like talking to an LCS fan, where we're like, yeah, like TSM, they did this, and Team Liquid has good players, and FlyQuest always surprises, so I think maybe they could win some games. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
it's
I
tough.
hope all three team to make semis,
Yeah,
and if everything like clicks, they will.
yeah,
But I don't want to jinx them.
sure.
I don't want to put too much hype around them.
Well, didn't you and I had a joke, I think, in a previous interview where right around the time you started doing stuff with LCK, I feel like LCK's legacy started to go downhill a little bit. So
That
I
was 2018, right?
yes, yeah, right around that time. So I can understand why you're nervous to jinx the team or whatever. I'm sure
Mhm.
it's coincidental, but but unfortunate maybe. I mean, I do think this year there's like a lot of uncertainty, right? Because we don't know. Every player has to. Well, the international players have to go through the quarantine, and maybe some of the rookies are going to do better without having to play in front of big audiences. So I guess we'll see how everything goes. Um, I'm sure. I mean, I'm very excited. We still get to have worlds because I will say that was one thing I was really nervous about. So I'm really happy that that's still working out, and I'm sure you are too. So
Yeah, so I mean, some people on the internet, they're like complaining about the like maybe the facility or the meal, the food.
yeah,
But I don't know. I think those are the things that we have to kind of understand because, we are having worlds in this situation, in
yeah,
this global pandemic. We are still having a global event. All the players are flying to China, and we are just trying to, I think everyone is just trying to find the best option in the given situation. So
right,
I know things are not that ideal or optimistic, but at the same time, it's like everything is like okay, except for the bug. But I mean, I can understand that as well because like having this much of a people in one hotel,
yeah,
like having them all quarantined and like providing meals 3 times a day, those kind of things are not easy and that simple. And finding this kind of facility near the airport and also near the venue,
yeah,
everything must have been a very long process. So I can understand everything, and I know this, well, compared to the previous events, this is not the best options and best environment for the players and everyone. But I mean, it's Corona, so this is, I think this is the best we can kind of offer
yeah. No, I
in the
mean,
current
what's as
situation.
I said, like we're lucky we're even able to do this. There's not very many international events that are still going to happen this year. Although I really like, I'm so sad that Broden and I could not be in Shanghai hanging out because it's always fun. I mean, I remember
Hmm.
Berlin running around and bumping into you and seeing everybody. It's like I'm gonna miss everybody. It's gonna be tough. I wish I could be over there. So, but next year will hopefully be better and everybody can come hang out again. So. Jeesun, is there anything you want to say to any of the Western fans out there going into Worlds, or you can promote, I don't know, your social media where people can find you? Anything you want out there?
So I have one quick question. so, so so Tactical has been performing so well in Team Liquid, right?
Yes,
So I looked him up on Twitter,
yes,
and his name was Edward Ra,
yeah.
which really sounds like a Korean name.
Oh, really?
The Ra is like a Korean last name, so I was like wondering this whole year if he's Korean and like if does he have a Korean name, because I looked him on like Leakpedia,
Yes.
and I couldn't find his Korean name, so I was really curious about it.
I don't know this. I can ask
And
around for you and message you and find out if he has a Korean name, because it's easy for me to investigate this. But would this be helpful for you for work, I assume? Maybe if you have to interview him?
that was my personal question, because like this was on my mind like this entire year
Yes.
watching LCS.
Okay, well, if anybody knows the answer to this, or if anybody wants, I can ask around, but feel free to tweet at Jeesun and let her know if you know this
What
information.
his Korean name is, if it's Korean.
Yes. What is your Twitter?
Z2, like ZEETWO and Z number 2.
Yes.
I
So
believe
Z2
so.
Z2 spelled out and then
Mhm.
number and letter. Well, hopefully I'll remember to put that in the description, but if not, somebody will comment it on the YouTube video. So people can go tweet at Jeesun there. But either way, thank you for taking the time to do this interview. Really looking forward to seeing you again at Worlds as always. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I'm glad that we were able to sync up and still do an interview, even if it's not in person. So thank you, Jeesun. Yep. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds right here on my YouTube channel. It is a very strange year in a lot of different ways. I look outside and the sky is just a different color. And so that's why it's been really, really helpful, really, really nice, in fact, to have the support of all of you. This is actually, I sometimes meme in these things, but I'm just going to say, like, I really miss going out to LCS studios, going out to events, meeting all you guys, doing live hotline leagues, etc. And so the fact that you guys have been so helpful in supporting me and saying nice things in the comments, subscribing, etc. is really cool. And again, thank you to Alienware, because they have also been really supportive in this time, and it's made like a tough year nicer. So thank you to Alienware. There's a link in the description below if you want to check out their stuff and use Travis 10 off Q3 to save on your order.